This is another service announcement brought to you by Shane Entertainment. Men, 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 manly men, 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 manly men, 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 manly men. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's right, guys. Today's topic is where have all the manly men gone? It's funny, I wasn't the biggest fan of that show, but winning, I've always loved that intro. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's the misogynist in me that comes out whenever I hear that tune. Manly men is a thing of the past, right, guys? It's something that Hollywood and all these SJW types, they're trying to kill. They're trying to kill the manly men, they're trying to kill the alpha male. There is an issue, there is a crisis on our hands, my friends, and it is the lack of actual male role models in our society. I mean, I'll tell you exactly what I'm trying to say. Come gather round, children, and let me tell you a story of yore. Once upon a time, way back when, we had things called conversations. Men and women interacted through verbal dialogue, not through Twitter or through Tumblr. We never texted, we didn't have no email, none of that, right? We talked through verbal communication. Once upon a time, too, guys, see, there was this thing called wooing. I used to woo, you shit's trumpet. You know, we had to woo our girlfriends. How do you think we got married, right? It was the girls didn't just come after you. We didn't have apps, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have any of that, right? Well, what do we have? We had our words. See, it was always a clumsy sort of thing. Male and female interaction. It was always a very clumsy, sort of hard to deal with sort of thing. For both, right? Men never knew how to approach women, women never knew how to approach men. But yet we somehow managed to survive this. We managed to not only survive, but we thrived. Yes, we managed to somehow through this ordeal of having to communicate through verbal communication, we managed to somehow get girlfriends and get married, either way, even without technology. In fact, guys, technology now only seems to hinder female and male interactions as opposed to help. I mean, you see that people become more distant. I mean, have you guys actually seen the way this new generation actually talks to each other? Right? It's horrible. I mean, you walk in, they're constantly just like sending pictures at each other. Ever seen that? Does anybody, do you have like a cousin who's 20, in his 20s, late teens, right? Have you ever paid attention to how he talks to his girlfriend? It's always through Instagram. It's always sending pictures. And then you say, well, why don't you talk to her? And they're like, me talk to her? I don't know what to say. Right? These are dudes doing this. These are guys. You go in there going, I don't know, talk to her. Gee, I don't know. I'll just send her another few thousand pics that I Photoshop and make 100% perfect, and then she sends the same back, right? So I've seen kids today that I talked to, they've been together with this girl. Yeah, I'm seeing this girl. Really? What's her name? Oh, she's Deborah. Oh, really? What do you guys have in common? Well, Instagram. We send pictures. Have you guys even had a conversation? No, not even not one conversation. No, but she sends me a lot of pictures, and I just see them back and forth throwing pictures. It's sad. It's sad what we've come to. Now, I'm not saying every teen and everybody's like that, but I've seen it often enough that it's getting into crisis territory, guys. People are getting more socially awkward by the minute. The whole world is just going to interact like it used to do in high school dances, where the boys on one side of the gym and girls on the other side of the gym. We're all just kind of like, I don't know what to do. But we were all like that, weren't we? I was like that growing up. I didn't know what the hell to say. See a beautiful girl walking down the street, you know, and you didn't know how to approach her, right? And girls probably the same. They saw a cute guy walking down, and they didn't know how to get the guy's attention. And it's getting worse, right? I mean, SGW has made it to the point where we can't even interact with each other anymore without being considered somehow sexual assault. I mean, you just go up to a girl and say, hi, sexual assault! I don't envy that. I wouldn't want to be single today, is all I'm trying to say. It's a difficult situation, but we all had that, right? We all had an element of not knowing how to interact, which is why we all turned to Hollywood. Yes, maybe it wasn't always the right idea, but we did, right? I did many times. I looked to Hollywood heroes, right? The two guys that I looked to was Han Solo and Captain Kirk. That's right, these were my role models. When it came to building up my confidence to speak to girls, you look to those two. And why? Because they were alpha males, they were self-assured, they knew who they were, and you wanted that, because most of us weren't like them. Most of us were kind of in the, cusp of just
oh gee, I don't know, maybe if you don't mind, would you like to give me your phone number or go out with me, right?
That girls don't respond too kindly to that, right? And you learn that very well. It doesn't matter how nice you are and how cute you are or any of that, right? You know, somehow it just never worked. For Han Solo and for Captain Kirk, it worked. And that's why we need these type of people back, because it's not that we want to be Han Solo. We'll never be Han Solo. We'll never be Captain Kirk. We just borrow elements from these people. shades of them, if you will, to add to our personalities and to somewhat guide us through really hard, murky waters 90% of the time. It's not easy out there, is it, guys? Nowadays, they're trying to kill off. Now we got things like Raylo out there, where it's like we got Snoke playing Chuck Woolery. For guys that don't know who Chuck Woolery is, in the 80s, I think in the 90s, he was the host to the dating game.
He's a radio traffic reporter on 2 different radio stations.
And that's what Snoke was, Chuck Woolery, just playing games with the Force to get people together. And that's not how love is, man. That's not how love works, and that's not how relationships get together, all right? And why did we choose Han Solo? Why Han Solo? Why Captain Kirk? Well, Han Solo was considered the epitome of manliness. Now, why? Why is that the case, right? What is it about Han Solo that makes him cool, that makes him so good? Like I always liked Han Solo, not just because he was cool and good looking and all that stuff. I liked him because he was real. It felt like a real situation. Like in reality, right? Let's take Star Wars, for example, just on how we look to Star Wars and say, hey, reality. Not really. But when it came to his relationship with Leia, I believe it was as real as it gets. Because remember, in the first episode, it was mostly about Luke and Leia, and they even teased them getting together until we found out that, yeah, they're brother and sister. Remember that kiss we had? Let's not speak of that again. Until that point, though, I believe we all kind of thought that Leia and Luke were going to get together. And had they gotten together, had Luke and Leia got together and not Han Solo and Leia, it would have been forced. It wouldn't have been natural. Because in the natural world, unfortunately, as nice a boy and as decent a guy as Luke Skywalker is, that's just not the case in the real world. In the real world, a guy like Luke Skywalker doesn't get Leia. He doesn't, unfortunately. I always considered myself to be a Luke Skywalker type. Cute guy, very nice, well-meaning, always ready to jump to oh, let's save the princess, woo-hoo-hoo. Like all excited and all with so much. That's who I was, the good guy, the hero that jumps into the fray and says, I'll save your princess! Right? That's who I was. That's who Luke Skywalker is. That's who he was in the first episode. But that's not who Han Solo was. Han Solo.
It's Leia.
Princess.
Where? Where is she?
Princess, what's going on?
We gotta help her.
Now look, don't get any funny ideas. I'm not going anywhere.
But they're gonna kill her.
Better her than me.
She's rich.
Rich.
Rich, powerful. Listen, if you were to rescue her, the reward would be...
What?
Well, more wealth than you can imagine.
I don't know. I can imagine quite a bit.
You'll get it.
I better.
You will.
All right, kid.
He had no interest in it. He just sat there going, what's in it for me? That's kind of the way the bad boy is. The bad boy don't care. The bad boy is in it for the bad boy. And Luke is just naive and the young kid. He's just like, she needs our help and she's pretty. And he's like, yeah, and so what? Who cares? What does it have to do with me in my life? What does it have to do, right? He goes, well, she's rich. All of a sudden, boing, his ears percolated, right? That's when he finally thought, hey, let's do it. Now, why is this key in the wooing process for Leia? Because in reality, guys, I know we all see ourselves as Luke Skywalker, and we all think that the Luke Skywalker character should get the girl in the end. But the truth of the matter is, it tends to be the guy doesn't give a rat's. The guy that cares more about himself. Not to say we should all be that. We should all be selfish and we shouldn't be, that to that degree, right? There's, like I said, there's elements. It's not you take the whole thing. You take elements. His was a learning curve, right? He had to make him selfish in the beginning so that he could learn and become, a little more caring towards the end. And that's usually when they got together. But it was in the first, right? He was all selfish, all me, all man type of guy. But then when they got together, when they first met, they didn't get along, right? At first, it was like two alphas colliding against each other. And alphas usually don't get along with alphas. Alpha male and an alpha female, there's just bang, bang, bang. In real life, an alpha male and an alpha female, while tend to be sexually attracted to each other, are usually relationship poison. But that's for another episode. When they finally got together, right, they butt heads a whole lot.
Can't get out that way.
Looks like you managed to cut off our only escape route.
Maybe you'd like it back in your cell, Your Highness.
Put that thing away! You're gonna get us all killed!
Absolutely, Your Worship. Look, I had everything under control till you let us down here.
I don't know who you are or where you came from. But from now on, you do as I tell you, okay?
Look, Your Worshipfulness, let's get one thing straight. I take orders from just one person, me.
So one day you're still alive.
No reward is worth this.
Sometimes I amaze even myself.
That doesn't sound too hard.
Your friend is quite a mercenary. Wonder if he really cares about anything. Or anybody.
What do you think of her, hon?
Trying not to, kid.
They didn't get along, they argued, you know, and he was still sort of selfish, and she was preoccupied with her goals, and she was a career-oriented woman, and he was just that rogue that girls tend to be attracted to. But you don't want to introduce Han Solo to your mom. At that time, right? You can tell even in the beginning, though, that there was a spark there between them. Even though I still think that George Lucas at that point was still wanting, because even the kiss and all that stuff, was still trying to get the relationship to be between those two. I think he added the sister stuff after, but it's my opinion. See, the real spark was between those two, right off the bat. And then came Empire Strikes Back. When I was a kid, I used to watch Empire Strikes Back more than any other movie, just to see their interaction, because I would take notes. I'd be like, See, in the beginning, they start playing coy with each other in Empire, right? Where it's like, they still kind of like each other, but they're not willing to admit it yet. And that's when Han Solo, and he's leaving, he's gonna say, I'm done, I'm through with this.
Well, Your Highness, guess this is it.
But the fact that he was threatening to leave the rebellion and go his own way again, she was kind of getting annoyed. But she too, because she's an alpha. She didn't want to admit her feelings to him. So that's how the juggling act was still kind of happening.
That's right.
Don't get all mushy on me. So long, princess.
Han!
He's like, oh, we need you.
Han, we need you.
And he says, we need or you need. And then she's like,
I know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's like typical, right? And he goes,
Probably don't.
well, then I'm out of here. Let's just pick that scene apart, right? As a guy, I know what I would have done. I'd have been like, you need me? Really honest and for true? I would have been like Luke Skywalker. You need me? I'm there. And that type of guy comes across as needy. That's usually where the girl kind of gets turned off, whereas a guy like Han Solo says, you guys need me or you need me? Let's be clear here. And then she says, what are you talking about? He's like, well, I'm out of here. See you later. Right? It's confidence. You see, he's in some way telling her, I like you, but I want you to admit that you like me. And if you don't admit you like me, well, I'll take you or I'll leave you. Because that's just the kind of guy I am. That stems from an inner confidence. Maybe not even real confidence, because a lot of times it's not necessarily real confidence. It's just a bravado facade, but the facade works. So never forget that, guys. Facade sometimes works. But his facade of confidence was enough to get her to get scared and chase him down the hallway, right?
And what precisely am I supposed to know?
Come on. You want me to stay because of the way you feel about me?
Yes, you're a great help to us. You're a natural leader.
No. That's not it. Come on.
You're imagining things.
Am I? Then why are you following me? Afraid I was gonna leave without giving you a goodbye kiss?
You could use a good kiss, he says. So like, you know, and he left her there just to think about it. And that's, no, okay, girls, guys, let's see. I'm not saying you should treat women badly. I'm not saying you should treat girls with disrespect, okay? I'm not saying any of that. We should always respect the women. We should always respect the girls. We should always do that. But girls, let's be honest. Guys, it's the same. We both are the same when it comes to this. We like the chase. People see themselves as somewhat of a prize, need to be won over somehow. So whether it's girls or guys, it's the same. This isn't gender specific. So SJWs, put down your rifles. I see red dots on my head from SJWs. It's just, you know, there was a dance here. There was a dance. Play it right. We need to look to guys like Han Solo. Guys who know how to play by their own rules. And that's something that excites a lot of girls. It's like, he's wild. He plays by his own rules, baby. And I'm gonna tame that tiger, right? Whereas you see a guy like Luke would have just been like, okay, I'll join the rebellion. Okay, let's do this. You know what I mean? He's a good, well-meaning, good-looking guy, cute and everything, but he's the type of guy that'd be like my little brother. He's so good. He's the friend zone dude. Whereas Han Solo would be the guy who, rightfully so, is what ends up happening. Spoiler alert. So let's look further into their relationship.
I just assumed he's a Wookiee.
I can arrange that. You can use a good kiss.
Well, Your Worship, looks like you managed to keep me around for a little while longer.
I had nothing to do with it.
It's a good story. I think you just can't bear to let a gorgeous guy like me out of your sight.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
And again, the dance continues, where he's like, just admit it, you like me. Just admit it. You know, you made this whole thing up so I'd stick around, and you know. So they did that whole dance for a while, and he became a little egotistical. That egotism, which could turn people off. Let's be honest with you guys. Don't try that right off the bat. If Han Solo had tried that approach right off the bat, when he met Princess Leia right in the beginning, calling himself good looking and all that stuff, you know, because it becomes trying too hard, and when you can see through it, there's like a fine line. That's why it's a perfect dance. You can't go too cocky too fast. Like, this was okay, and this was believable that she would, you know, she'd get by it, but she would still be attracted to it because she already knows him. She knows who he is. It's not a big surprise that he acts that way. But if he had done that right off the bat, I think that would have been the closed door. So remember, guys, this is for us boys. there is a limit to as far as you can go in the beginning with being egocentric. Right? You don't go up to a girl right away and go, "Hey, baby, I think you love me. Aren't I gorgeous? Give me your number." That'll never work. God, girls will be like, "Get away from me, creepo," right?
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
See, I'm being a manly man today, and that's why I got the manly man beer. it's root beer with vodka. You don't get more manly than that.
But you didn't see us alone in the South Passage. She expressed her true feelings for me.
What? Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder.
Who's scruffy looking?
Winning becomes this sort of overly egotistical. She does get angry with him, though. You can see, and that's when she calls him the scruffy nerve herder. This was kind of the low point for Han Solo, because this is where you can sort of see the dance taking place, and he was getting a little bit ahead of himself on this part, but he redeems himself.
You must have hit pretty close to the mark. You get her all riled up like that, huh, kid?
So after he gets called the nerve herder, he then turns to Luke and says, "I must have been close to the mark if I got her all riled up like that." Which we all know, methinks thou protest too much, right? And when thou protest too much, we know you're getting warm at dark. And he was right.
Let go. Let go, please.
Don't get excited.
Captain, being held by you isn't quite enough to get me excited.
Sorry, sweetheart. I haven't got time for anything else.
See, now, at some point where the ship is getting topsy-turvy in Empire, you know, they land in each other's arms. Now, at this point, right, you can see the ego of Solo is starting to get a little bit high, but in this case it's working. But, you know, again, this is one of those very dangerous territory situations where you can get yourself into a lot of trouble, but he's good on this because he doesn't really do anything that's that bad. She fell on him, he grabbed her, she says, let me go, all agitated, and he's like, "Hold on, shh." Like, pretending like he doesn't know what's happening, right? But he does. And she's like, "Don't get excited," right? Just because you touch me doesn't mean I'm all excited. Again, methinks they'll protest too much in this situation. But you gotta be very careful. This is a very tender situation. She can go either way here, right? She can either go, "Get the hell out of here," and give him an uppercut, or, you know, you could be like, "What happens?"
Hey, your worship, I'm only trying to help.
Would you please stop calling me that?
Sure, Leia.
You make it so difficult sometimes.
I do, I really do. You could be a little nicer, though. Come on, admit it, sometimes you think I'm all right.
Occasionally, maybe, when you aren't acting like a scoundrel.
All right, now at some point when they're trying to fix the ship, you see that there's a genuine moment there. See, he's smart. Girls will get turned off. Guys, I'm telling you, girls will get turned off at some point if you continue to be that egotistic. This is why it makes him such a good ladies' man, and why I liked him, and why it wasn't just he was this arrogant, pompous guy who was consistently, you know, pushing her buttons and just trying to get the jokes. At some point he sees that enough is enough, and this is where his instincts take place. He sees it. He sees this is it. This is where I gotta show myself, because he sees her and how she's acting and he responds to it. By then, you could be nicer too, right? I mean, we could all be together, is what he kind of tells her, right? And she's like, "You could be so difficult sometimes." You're like, "Yeah, you're right. But you could be nicer too." And then they kind of have a real moment here. This is a real moment.
Scoundrel. Scoundrel. I like the sound of that.
Now, she's still being hard. She's still being the hard, like, alpha female, because she's an alpha, he's an alpha. He was the first to show his soft side. Now, she's kind of caught off guard by this, and she's like, "Maybe," you know, and she's sort of kind of taken aback by his softness that he's finally showing, and so now she's not sure yet she should show his soft side, but she's starting to warm up.
Stop that.
Stop what?
Stop that. My hands are dirty.
My hands are dirty too. What are you afraid of?
Afraid?
You're trembling.
And then comes the hand caressing. You can see she wasn't assertive. Guys, remember this. If a girl says no, leave my hand alone. Most of the time, leave her hand alone. But in this, he reads it, the situation. And again, that's what makes him the ladies' man that he is. Most people, like me, don't have this level of instinct when it comes to that. So it's probably better to just leave her hand alone. However, he reads the situation because he is what he is. And he also read the script, so he's way ahead of us in that sense. And he holds her hand. And she's like, leave my hand alone. And he says, why? He goes, my hands are dirty. Well, my hands are dirty too. They're both got dirty hands.
I'm not trembling.
You like me because I'm a scoundrel. There aren't enough scoundrels in your life.
I happen to like nice men.
Nice man.
Very nice.
He's like, gets closer to her and she's not pulling away. And this is sort of where you got to read the situation. Again, you got to read each other's vibes. She's an alpha woman. If she didn't want to be there, she would kick him in the nuts already. She would have already pushed him away and left, because she's not the type of girl to stand for it, right? She's not the type of girl to let a guy kiss her if she doesn't want it, because she's a grown-ass woman. She doesn't need your protection from Han Solo. She's dealt with Vader. She doesn't need it, right? So she when she slinks back, he moves forward, not because she didn't want it, she's just unsure. If she says, well, let's see how far I can take it. And she let him go. She let him do it. Now, this comes from an instinct that a guy like Han Solo has. And again, we're not all gonna be Han Solo in reality. We look to Han Solo not to be the perfect guy. We're not gonna go word for word with what Han Solo does. None of us are Han Solo. But we take elements of what Han Solo teaches us, and what even Leia teaches us. Because Leia's also showing you can be a strong woman, but you can be tender, and you can let a guy, if Leia did not want him touching her, Leia would have she would have used the Force, and that would have been it. And she says, I like the nice guy. And he says, I know you do. And he kisses her. Now, guys, I know this is one of those weird things that today's generation is gonna have a problem with, is the first kiss. This is what I'm going to teach you guys. Something that's shady entertaining, something that I learned, not necessarily the hard way, but it wasn't the easy way. Let's just say that. Through trial and error, actually, I learned, especially nowadays, where a kiss can be considered, for God's sakes, by some to be, I don't even want to say it, but like sexual assault. So to kiss a girl right off the bat is not the right answer. For example, you're on a date. You're on a date with someone. You like her, you think it went well, you walk her to the door, you don't know if you should kiss her or not, you don't know what to do, right? Now, are you going to do like Han Solo, or are you just going to go right up to her in the door and say, did you have a good time? And she's going to say, yeah, I had a good time. And you're just going to walk slowly closer to her, I know you did, I could tell. And she's going to be like, you can, or something like that, and she's going to be like, yeah, because you're trembling. I'm not trembling. And then you're going to kiss her, right? That could go very wrong. Just don't go and kiss her. But here's what you do. Even if you say the trembling line, which I would avoid the trembling line, but even if you do, you just sort of like walk up to her. You got to be assertive. You got to remember these eyebrows. Look at these eyebrows. See, these are the assertive eyebrows. You're gonna go, hey, how you doing, huh? La la wee la. No, you go up to her and you be like, you're confident. You got to look confident. This is how you do with the eyebrows, whatever. Just look confident, tender, caring. And if you see that moment that you do think you can kiss a girl, right? You don't just move in for the kiss because you don't know if she'll like it or not. But you don't also ask her and say, can I kiss you now? Can I, may I please? See, this is where the problem is for most guys now. This is where the issue lies, guys. If you go with the full aggressive, go in for the kiss like Han Solo did, which I said, sometimes it could work. You gotta be very careful, especially today. But if you do the opposite and you say,
may I kiss you? I was just wondering.
Girls will be like, who is this dude? You're asking permission to kiss me? That'll turn a girl off too. So what do you do, right? That's like the situation, and a lot of guys don't understand. What do you do in that situation? Well, here's what I would do in that situation. Take it for what it is. This is just my advice from what I learned from watching guys like Harrison Ford and then Captain Kirk and people like that. This is how you really do it, and through trial and error. You go up to her in the same way as Han Solo did. You look at her in the eyes and you say, I think I'm gonna kiss you. The reason why you say, I think I'm going to kiss you, if you just say, I'm gonna kiss you, that could come across, again, today's day and age, a little more too aggressive. Sometimes not, it all depends on the person, and that's where it becomes, we don't know. Today's day and age, maybe in the 80s and the 90s you could have got away with that. Today, you gotta say the, think I'm going to kiss you. You're showing that you're assertive. You're showing that I have what it takes to kiss you, but I think I'm going to. That you're giving her the chance to say, I wouldn't if I were you, right? Because you could be like, yeah, good show. I'm glad you said you think you want to, but I'm good. These lips right now are good, right? This is what you're giving her a chance to say that, and then when she does, if she says that, you just sort of like, okay. And then you walk away. Maybe next time, and you walk away with confidence, then like that, or something, right? Don't be sleazy about it, but just be cute. Whatever you do, be cute with it. Be cute, be confident. That's what girls like. She'll most likely, though, if she does like you and the date does go well and everything is the way your instincts were all right, she will say, well, what's taking you so long? Because that would be a nice line for her to say. It's taking you so long. Now she's being aggressive and she's being assertive and she wants to kiss. And she's saying, well, you know, put up or shut up, baby. And so, bam, you guys lip smack and all the good stuff. So that's just what I said. And I learned that from watching guys like Han Solo. And I have a wife, beautiful marriage, and you know, we all had our trials and tribulations with trying to connect with the opposite sex, but we always looked to guys like Han Solo and guys like Captain Kirk.